And welcome back. I think we left off last time in the Long Dark. So we're going to begin our trip at long last, actually out into the far territories again. We've been getting distracted. We got distracted in... Oh, there's the battery. As you can see, I'm getting distracted. We got distracted in Mystery Lake area with some stealing some deer from some wolves. It decided I wanted a food stockpile out here while we had good weather, so I went and hunted a bear. And every time I get distracted and spend time harvesting stuff, we haven't been making quite as much progress to getting to where we're going. But these are also sort of making convenient piles of food as we go along, right? So there's a pile of food here now. It's not a very big pile of food. There's a pile of food here. There's a pile of food, more importantly, that can be cooked. So if I show up with fuel, right, we can make food. And some of it is cooked. So if I walk up and like, we're desperately hungry, need to eat now, I can eat, then cook, which is also nice. There was already piles of food. There's now multiple piles of food extra in the Mystery Lake area. So when it comes time to go back to the Coastal Highway, on the way, we've got plenty of food. And we're currently at full condition, which is a great place to be on a day where at this weather it is still warm enough for us to travel without taking any condition loss from the cold. I probably don't even need the torch lit. We're taking the torch lit with us because it provides protection from the wolves, not because it's necessary to stay warm at this point. Things may change, right? We're late enough in the day that it's going to get colder at this point. It's not going to get warmer, it's going to get colder. And we're now reaching the broken bridge. Just beyond here is the far territories. So if we keep going this way, we should very rapidly... Oh, there's another wolf. I wasn't expecting to find a wolf this far along. Leave the broken railway, enter into the rail tunnel here. We're now officially in the far territories. In this area, at least, doesn't have any wolves. We got still a very, very long walk ahead of us. And that's mostly what we're going to be doing in this episode. So hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, we'll make it to the train station before this episode ends. I do need to lose a little bit of weight because we are approaching a climb. That for convenience sake that I will take. There is a way to go past it without taking the climb. Like this ability got way down. But then we're more likely to run into a wolf going that way, so it's pros and cons, right? Probably the easiest way to lose weight is not pick up any sticks or coal as we go along. until we get past that climb.
It's dusk.
Not that I expected to be any sticks or coal in this tunnel anyway. Well, there might have been a little bit of coal. I wouldn't have been surprised if there was some that fallen off the train or whatever, right? But they have there for that reason. But I don't necessarily would expect there to be any renewable coal. So if we go straight, that's the way that we really go down. If we take the right here, this is the way to the climb, which is a shortcut. Like, it's a physically shorter route. So coming the other way, the landslide ahead, you can billy goat over. This way does not have a billy goatable landslide direction, so we can't get up and over it from this side. So we are going to have to climb down. So there's a little bit of climb down there. It's a cave over there, which we can use to go around. It's sounding windy, but apparently it's not that windy. Because it hasn't taken the torch, and we're still surprisingly warm for high wind conditions. Okay, we need to lose a little bit of weight. Partially because we've gotten hitting fatigue point locations. Okay. Next thing we can do to lose a little weight is chuck the torch down ahead of us. You only need to be underweight to start a climb. Once you're climbing, getting overweight will slow you down. So that's a thing to be aware of while ascending, is if you think the fatigue loss from climbing is going to make you get overweight, that changes the maximum distance you can relatively climb upwards by a lot. So don't get surprised. And you don't necessarily want to get off a rope onto a cliff, or onto one of the places where you can take breaks on the way, if you're overweight, because then you're going to have to leave things behind. That obviously isn't a problem if you're descending as much, because you usually climb down and take less fatigue going down than you do going up, so it's less of a concern going that direction. And usually the bad events for low fatigue while climbing are early on you slipping. Right, so if you're almost at the bottom and you slip a little bit, that's fine. If you're almost at the top and you slip a little bit, well, then that means you have to keep climbing, or you have to give up and go down. And keeping climbing, if you just lost some distance and you're at the point where you're starting to have the bad events like slipping, could mean it's very easy to fall before you get the rest of the way up and get seriously injured that way. Or then you've got to slide back down, you've got to climb down. You basically did all the effort of climbing 90% of the way up, only to climb all the way back down again. And you could still have accidents and still slide and still hurt yourself. So, take fatigue into account before you start climbing. Descending is usually less important to worry about than ascending, but both ways are still a little bit of their own sets of struggle. Okay, come out the tunnel. Here's the railroad. Left goes back the way we came from. You can go up and over the rock slide there to get back to where we were from. Whereas right is the direction we want to go farther out into the far territories. Still, real long walk ahead of us. Oh, I'm starting to run out of my bad torches. Either this one will blow out, or I'll probably contemplate taking a moment to turn some sticks into torches. Which is basically find a wind shelter location, start a fire, stuff sticks in the fire, pull sticks out as torches. We're overweight now because we're carrying too much coal. Which is usually the thing you want. You want to be overweight because you're overprepared, rather than underweight when going into the unknown. Though, you'd probably still want to be, if you could, be appropriately weighted and prepared. So yeah, probably got a little bit more coal than I need. That would be one way to save some weight. The wind is picking up, which is apparently not too much of an issue. We're not too cold yet. Oh, that looks like a cave up there. If we weren't destination walking, I'd probably go over there and explore that cave. Or if we were colder, I'd probably go over there and explore that cave. Warm up in the cave. Okay. Long walk ahead of us. This episode will probably mostly be walking. Me trying to find ways to fill the air while we walk. Okay. Here are some snow sheds. These are real things. They do exist. Usually in places where there's fear of mild avalanches. Because basically if you're coming along here, these are built right. They should be able to take a mild avalanche landing on them. And not completely collapse. I think sometimes I suppose also be used in rockfall prone areas. Oh, that's what we were going to do. Let's quickly... Too close to another object. No, I was gonna... There we go. 100% chance of starting the fire. Okay. Get what was left of that torch. Turn it into a campfire.
Come on.
We're gonna shove the 10 sticks in the fire here. Just turn it into torches. I'm gonna disassemble this one so we have one stick with which to start fires. Don't have any rose hips on me. Oh, I could make some rose hip pine. Should remember to grab some at some point. Oops, we don't want to put more fuel on the fire. We were just here to take torches out of it.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Off we go again. Still early night, so it is still reasonably warm. Although our character's going to walk slower and slower and slower until we take a long rest to recover a bunch of our fatigue. Which is why my goal is the next building I know of. We'll warm up in the next building, basically. Well, I suppose we can take a moment and eat some of the food. Save us a little bit of weight. Which in turn makes us a little bit faster. Torch swap time. So yeah, coming up on finishing the last bit of the first Tales. We'll... Don't exactly know what I'm going to do after the first tale. Forget... I think there's a second tale out besides the trader. I'll have to double check if there's actually a Tales in the mine area. But yeah, I think once we're out here for a while, we're just going to be doing exploring. Explore out the airfield area. Maybe start trying to map it, give us a decent, nice looking map or something. But we're not going to be immediately desperate. Well, depends on how the food situation works out. We're not going to be immediately desperate for just turning around and running right back to Coastal Highway once we've done finding the last signal. And to be fair, the last signal might take a decent while to find. I don't know where it is. I'm a little bit spoiled where it is, but I'm not sure. Like, I know it's near a place. So if I find that place and recognize that's the place that's near, then I know where it will be. But I have not been there, so I don't know what it looks like. So we're kind of waiting for some electromagnetic effect to let the radio work once we get to the airfield. I suspect it'll be more common in the airfield. Be fair, you have glimmer fog in the airfield as well, which makes everything more common. Or makes electrical events more common, at least. Whether it's double or more than double is not known to me. Okay, getting decently close, I think, now to the train station. So this big area we're in now, I think, has the train station in the middle of it. And there's sort of like 3 different paths besides the railroad that we're on right now. You can take off to various zones in the far territory. So basically taking ourselves out to transfer station. Torch swap. If I don't follow the tracks perfectly, I can probably find a few sticks or something along the edge. Yeah, we got some nice travel weather here. Don't know if this area has thin ice. It is a marsh, so like the muskeg, I could imagine having some. Go look at finding any sticks. Here's the vacant depot, which is the train station I was talking about. I think I'll drop some of our gear here, because we don't need to bring everything with us. We're just going to come sleep in here. There we go. Up and into the thing. I think we're going to have the character sleep in front of the fire. That sounds like a reasonable place to snooze. I'm going to do a little bit of exploring before we actually have the character
Not
sleep.
sure why I feel so tired.
Not as light as I would want to be, but light enough. Do a little bit of exploration while the weather's good. And then we'll go take a 10-hour snooze. I thought I saw a fork in the train tracks, or was it just a really short fork? Yeah, train tracks go off this way. Oh, yeah, it's just a really short fork goes parallel again. We've already explored that landmark once. Okay, so that's the end of that track. Let's keep going that way. Oh, this is just wait, someone can't tell, so I'm gonna replace them. Three cattails. If we get back to 6, that would be good, I think. Keep wandering this way, you should find the tracks. Then I can follow the tracks back to the depot. Pretty sure I've been up here and explored before, but take a look. Yeah, nothing up here. Or if it was probably on the... Oh, I suppose it could be in the barrel. We're not going to take time to harvest that barrel. Left torch right out. It's fine, I don't need it in here anyway. Now we're about to take a nice long rest. Pick up all our stuff, which makes us a little too heavy, but that's fine. Pick up the ruined torch. Disassemble both ruined torches. And sleep for the night. This will make that a little bit. This will make this episode a little bit of a short episode because we're going to basically use the sleeping of the character as our part break. So instead of being 30 minutes, it'll be like 28 once I add the, well, maybe 29 once I add the rambling exit on. So I hope you've been enjoying. In the next one, we'll be heading out to the airfield, unless something goes wrong with the weather. So with that, I wish you all good time. So there's our save. Gonna pause there. We'll pick up in the next one. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be another part tomorrow. Sorry for this part being a bit short. This was a convenient place to put it, and the next part was probably gonna be too far out. If you're watching on Twitch, the last break was fairly short because I didn't actually go get tea, like I'd said in the previous one. But we're gonna go get another cup of tea during this break, so it's gonna be a longer break because of getting tea. With that, wish you all the best of luck and a good time until the next part, and bye for now.